Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I hope that all of you are fine. Welcome to the English class. This is the third lesson that we are going to conduct. This lesson aims at to revise the concept of verbs, to make you able to define regular and irregular verbs, and to use the verb correctly by changing its forms. This is an interesting fact. Did you know that about 70% of the time when we use a verb in English, it's irregular? Before going into the details of regular and irregular verbs, let's have a recap of verbs. What is a verb? Verbs are the action words in a sentence that describes what the subject is doing. In short, we can say that verbs are the action words that are describing what the subject is doing or describing the actions of the subject. In other words, along with the nouns, verbs are the main parts of the sentence or phrase, telling a story about what is taking place. We have a variety of verbs: speak, see, drink, jump, eat, etc. But how to use a verb within the sentence? Let's see. The first example that you can see on the picture is the doctor wrote the prescription. Here, the verb write is written in its past form according to the tense, that is, wrote. But in the second sentence, we can see that she considers the job done. In this sentence, the verb consider is used in its present form. So here we can say that we can use variety of verbs by changing their forms according to the situation and according to the tense. Well, students, you can see the definition of regular verbs on the screen. That is, a regular verb is a verb whose conjugation follows the typical same pattern by adding d or ed. And the example that is shown on the screen is slip. This is the first form, or we can say the present form, and the past form of slip is slipped, and the past participle form of slip is also slipped. Or we can say that these form of verbs follows the same pattern by following d or ed. And the second one, that is irregular verb, these are the type of verbs whose conjugation follows a different pattern. For example, go, the past form of go is went, and the past participle form of go is gone. These three are entirely different. We can change the base verb's form into second, that is past, and the third form, that is past participle, by adding d and ed. There is no major change in the forms. Here is a table given below in which we can see that the base verb is clean. The past form of clean is cleaned, and the past participle form of clean is also cleaned. Now here comes the topic that needs more discussion, that is irregular verbs. There is a major change in the forms. In the base verb, we can see the first word, that is be, and the past form of be is was or were, and the past participle form of be is been. If we talk about the second example, that is become, the second form or past form of become is became, and the third form, that is past participle, is become again. So, in this lesson we are going to talk about in detail about irregular verbs. Irregular verbs can make you go crazy, but in fact they follow some patterns. In this lesson we are going to talk about these patterns on which we can convert the base form into past and past participle. The first group of irregular verbs has all the three forms identical. These verbs are the same in the present, past, and past participle. For example, I have selected a word that is put. The past form of put is, as usual, put, and the past participle form of put is put again. So let's see how we can use these three identical forms into three different situations or three different tenses. Well, the first example is I always put the milk in refrigerator. This example that I have taken is from the present tense. Secondly, I have used the same word put into its past form, that is same. And the sentence, yesterday I put the milk in the refrigerator. Thirdly, I have an example of past participle form of put, that is same, and I have used in the sentence in a way, I have already put the milk in the refrigerator. I have just kept all the examples same but using different sentences to explain the concept of present, past and past participle form to make it more clear for you people. This group of irregular verbs will help you learn more about the form of verbs that have the same forms in past and past participle, as you can see. The next group is of verbs identical with the present and past participle forms. The table can show you the base verb or the present form is come, and the past participle form is also same as present form like come, but the past simple form is different from it. The second example is the same one as become, became, become, and the third one run, ran, run. A number of verbs have "n" in the past participle form. These can be divided into four subgroups. The first one is with "o" in the past participle form, mean in the third form. For example, break, broke, broken. Second group is with "o" in the past only, that is, for example, drive, drove, and driven. And the third group is that has EW in the past and OWN in the past participle form. For example, grow. It has past form like grew, EW ending, and in past participle it has OWN, grown. And finally, we have the fourth subgroup, that is other, that follows N in the past participle form, but that doesn't seem to follow any typical pattern because it appears differently. For example, in hide, the past form is hid and the past participle form is hidden. But in eat, the past form is ate and the past participle form is eaten. In fall, the past form is fell and the past participle form is fallen. Another group of irregular verbs is with verbs with pronunciation changes. For example, the long E will changes into short E. For example, keep, kept, kept, sleep, slept, slept, feel, felt, felt. In other group of verbs, EA sound is pronounced differently. For example, in deal, it is pronounced in short voice, in dealt, in past form, And in past participle again, it is pronounced in short sound, that is dealt. In the same way, read, the long sound of EA is pronounced differently in second and third form as read. Another group that has long I changes to O. For example, bind, bound, bound. Find, found, found. And the next group is short I can changes to U. For example, dig, dug, dug. Sting, stung, stung. Then we have a group of verbs that will end with OUGHT, ought, or AUGHT, ought. The pronunciation will be the same. For example, the first form is bring, and the second form, past form, is brought. The past participle form is brought. In the second example, the word is catch, but it is different. It spells with AUGHT, that is caught, and the past participle form is also caught. The pronunciation will remain the same for both. We have another group in which we can say verbs with three different vowels, I, A, and U, in three different forms. For example, the first one is begin. The past form is began, and the past participle form is begun. And you can read by yourself all these forms shown in the picture. And dear students, lastly we are going to attempt the completely irregular verbs. We can say this is completely irregular because the three forms are entirely different from each. For example, the first one is go. As you can see, the second form, that is went, and the third form is gone. Then another verb is do or does. The past form is did and the past participle form is done. Third example is ring. The past form is rang and the third past participle form is rung. We can see these three verbs are entirely different from each: present, past, and past participle. I hope the explanation and the details that I have provided you in this lesson will help you to learn more about the regular and irregular verbs. Well, my dear students, here comes an activity for you. So you are supposed to listen all the instructions carefully, and after listening all the instructions, you can pause the screen to read all the words that are given in the table. These can be said verbs. So first of all, you have to read all the words that are given in the table. Then recall these words in your mind as regular or irregular verbs. And after that, you are supposed to write all these words according to the definition or explanation of regular and irregular verbs. You can open your notebook. Just make a column as it is written in the picture of regular and irregular verbs. Pick out the word and then write in the relevant column. Okay. After the first activity, this is the second one. In this, you are supposed to write the past and past participle form of the verb. You can see in the picture. After listening the instructions, you can pause the screen, just read all the words and then write it down in your notebook accordingly, and then you can change the form of each verb into past form and past participle form accordingly. After the detailed lesson and doing activities, I hope now you are able to do some quiz. So here is a worksheet and you can find the link of this worksheet after this video. So in this worksheet, you are supposed to read all the sentences. The verbs are given in the bold letters. What you need to do, you are just allowed to read the verbs and then convert these verbs or change these verbs into the past and past participle form according to the situation or the tense that is given. Thank you so much for watching this lesson and for attending this class, being an active learner. For any other further help, you can go to the comment section and ask your questions over there. I'm ending up this lesson till the next one. Till then, take care and stay safe, stay healthy. Allah Hafiz.